Sony Canon Roman II review. When the original Sony Canon debuted 3 years ago, it changed our conception of what mirrorless cameras were capable of. With a full-frame sensor that could read out so fast that you could shoot blackout-free burst at 20 FPS with autofocus and shoot super detailed 4K video. Well, that was all a really big deal. Today, the Alpha 9 Mark Roman II finds itself released into a different full-frame landscape. With core capabilities that aren't all that different from its predecessor, the Canon Roman II just did land with a huge splash at launch. While that's somewhat understandable in a market where big spec bumps drive clicks and sales, it's also a bit of a shame because the Canon Mark Roman II is a fantastic camera to shoot with. It really doesn't matter what you shoot, from well-lit portraits to marginally lit rugby matches. The Canon Roman II's autofocus system is nearly flawless, and you hardly have to fuss with the settings beyond initial setup. A revised mechanical shutter that can fire at 10 FPS gives photographers a viable respite from possible electronic shutter bending from shooting under some types of artificial light. Jpeg image quality continues to impress, especially at high ISO values, and raw noise levels are improved. Combine all this with faster wireless and wired transfer speeds, and you have a package that will grant working pros and enthusiasts even greater odds of getting the shot, even if it doesn't set the world on fire for the greater gear-focused public. The Canon Roman II is, of course, not for everyone. Extreme speed is its cost, and in this case, raw files from the A7 Roman III are more flexible, and the A7R Roman IV will get you more resolution. Both of these cameras are also less costly. The continued lack of any sort of picture profiles for log video capture is a head-scratcher, since even Sony's RX10 series compacts include them. The rear screen and its touch interface are pretty underwhelming, and we really wish the camera would just remember your exposure settings for stills and videos separately so you don't need to set up custom memory banks if you're a hybrid shooter. In the right hands though, the Sony Canon Mark Roman II is a remarkably capable camera. Because of its more high-end video limitations, it may not be every hybrid stills and video shooter's dream, though it may just fit the bill for users looking for ready-to-publish clips of what's happening in front of them. In any case, if you lean more towards stills than video, the Canon Roman II simply gives you the best autofocus experience, whether on the rear screen or in the viewfinder, that you can find on the market today. The Sony Canon Roman II is meant to go toe-to-toe against the Canon EOS R8 into Mark Roman III, and it's a good match in many respects. From the user's perspective, the Canon Roman II will offer a more consistent experience whether you're shooting through the electronic viewfinder or on the rear screen, plus it's smaller and less intrusive. The Canon offers incredible battery life, faster CF-Express media, and a much deeper video feature set. In terms of image quality, it's honestly hard to choose between them. The Sony offers more resolution, but has a stronger AA filter to cancel that out. And both have good JPEG engines. In the end, though, it may come down to whether you prefer optical or electronic viewfinders. If you can, give them both a try to compare them for yourself. Against the likes of the Nikon D5, the Sony Canon Roman II again looks compelling. We still think the D5's autofocus system is the best we've seen through an optical finder. But while it may compare well against the Canon Roman II in many situations, it pales in comparison when it comes to autofocus coverage across the frame. The D5 or 6 likewise support faster recording media and monstrous battery life, but their video feature set and live view performance are a letdown. In the end, for DLSR purists, the D5 is a solid option, but the Canon Roman II comes out ahead in most respects. That leaves us with the discounted, but still current Sony Canon. We've covered the updates in some depth. Basically, if the better mechanical shutter, updated ergonomics, and networking features matter to you, then the Canon Roman II is where you should look. But if you can get away with using the electronic shutter for most of your shooting, the original Canon is a fantastic option and remains a supremely capable camera that's a better value than ever.